All right. I gotta get my little let me see if I can get my StreamYard set up correctly. Let me what up, I'm just waiting for people to come through. Shout out to the gang. Let me see if I can bring some of this in. I don't want to keep it too long or too much dead silence or anything like that. Well, this is Jehovah Chronicles number 82, called Hell and Its Misconceptions. You know what I mean? Commonly, when we think of the word hell, first of all, we got to understand that the word we use, hell, right, comes from older terms, right? And one of the common mythological or retellings of what a hell is a so-called underworld. We're going to reveal what this underworld is, in that it is the actual spirit world, but it's here. It's right here, right next to us, just unseen. It is out of the physical light spectrum. It is out of the 700 to 400 nanometer or level of perceivable light. So, I want to get off into some of the definitions first before we get off into what uh, hell is. Well, first of all, let's take some of the spookiness out of it, right? They always tell you that it's only a place of torment. Excuse me, y'all. That it's a place of torment. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't necessarily deny that these are places where torments are going on. You know, but a hell is a specific thing, right? And first, we gotta take the spookiness out of it. What is the intermediate worlds? What is Hara or Hades, aka hell? You know what I mean? So first and foremost, we want to get off into some of the definitions. Peace to the family, man. Shout out everybody coming through. D, Tabitha, Elijah, Seven, Bronze, yo. Thanks everybody for coming on in. You know what I mean? Thumb up the video, support the channel. Let me see. I think this is the book of Ben, or is this the book of Esra? Let's go. Let's go to the book of Esra, chapter 4, verse 3. Right? That's the book of Esra, chapter 4, verse 3, where it explains, as in defining Hades, right? Or the lower heavens, also known as hell. And all the heavenly places of the earth and atmospheric heavens, which travel with the earth around the sun, is named Hara, or Hades, hell, the intermediate world, the lower heaven, the breathable part of the atmosphere, through which none can pass to the atmospheric heaven till purged of self and be made spotless, pure, and strong in spirit. So Hell is in fact all of the lower heavens, or what would commonly be called the first resurrection. No spooky. So when you die, you're born, or first of all, when you die, you are born into the heavens according to your spiritual rate. So you can be rated higher than the first resurrection or the lowest of the low heavens. But all the lower heavens that touch upon the earth to roughly right above the clouds is called Hada, Hades, hell. It is just our breathable part of the atmosphere. You dig what I'm talking about? Just to lose the spooky. But let's get into what Owaspy has to say about hell. Right? I also want to bring this up too. There is a place, right? Where, you know, what we commonly hear about hell, the fire, the brimstone, the torture, you know what I mean? All that. But those things happen in hell or in the lower atmosphere, but there are certain places in the lower atmosphere, and these are called knots. Knots. When you commonly think of hell, you think fire and brimstone, right? Well, hell is the place where they set up these sections of torturement called knots, right? And let me explain how a knot is made. Let me go to well, there are times in the heaven where angels of the false gods get rebellious, and they come down to the earth and, you know, inspire men to evil, just like they up to. But let me get one of these. Let me get the definition of a knot, right? Now, this is what we commonly think of when we hear of hell. But these are things are just happening in hell, which is the lowest part of the atmosphere, right? So you see how easily this thing can be confused, right? It can very easily be confused. You dig what I'm talking about? Shout out to the Creative Gang, man. Everybody for coming in. I know y'all surely coming in. Cosmon is just cranking up, just starting. You know what I mean? We just starting. I'm not on the computer today. I'm on the tablet. So y'all bear with me. You dig what I'm talking about? And we gonna get to it. Right? But let me read what it say about hell. I mean about a knot. Right? I'm gonna read what it says about a knot, and we're gonna see if that compares up to what we commonly hear or is applied to what we know as hell. A knot, right, is a mass of millions and millions of spirits becoming panic-stricken. So listen to that. A knot is a mass of millions and millions of spirits becoming panic-stricken and falling upon their chief or leader, who becometh powerless in their grip and is quickly rolled up in the midst of the knot. So these places of torment, right? The people who are being tormented many times are the leaders. So when, for instance, let's give you a idea so you can put it in your head. Excuse me, pause, man. That sounded crazy. You dig what I'm talking about? So you can wrap your mind around it. Hitler, right? He led the SS Nazis, right? He was the leader, right? And he pushed a doctrine of racial supremacy that got millions of not only his people killed, but millions of other people killed for his ideology. Being that leader, when he crossed over in death, right? And they found out that he was false. And these millions and millions of people who were led by his ideology and killed by his ideology are oppressed on him. He can't get away from these people, because what you're bound to in real life, you're also bound to in the spiritual life. And this is why we are bringing out the distinction of between God and the Creator, so we can wake our people up. You know what I mean? We got brothers arguing about, is rape good? Is it okay? We got other brothers talking about, are braids locks? Is this your highest spiritual attribute? This is the highest you can get to debate whether locks and braids are the same? Are you kidding me? So this is what brought me to hell, man. We was talking about spiritual rape, so I thought I should bring this, what a waspy got out about hell, man. Because see, many of y'all still follow the gods because y'all fear them, because y'all think y'all gonna go to hell and have your chestnuts roasting on fire for 1,000 years. I'm telling you that if your God tells you to fear him at all, he's false. I'm also telling you, if your God tells you to praise him at all, he's false. True God never needs your prayer or asks for it. He is a man just like you. Why would he want your praise? When both of y'all, true God and you, are both praying to the Creator. So now we know what we commonly understand as hell, right, is really called a knot. And hell is the lowest breathable, or Hades is the lowest breathable part of the atmosphere. But let's get into what Owaspy got to say. All right. Grieve not that ye had great kingdoms and had been overthrown and cast into torments. He's saying, grieve not that ye had great kingdoms and had been overthrown and cast into torments. For ye have been so prepared in my works, that I might reach them that are not of the flesh and blood of my faiths. Right? The believers in the Great Spirit. He said, so what he's saying in that point right there is, he's saying, don't be sad about that you come from this great lineage and all this, and it failed, and you didn't you found yourself in the torments of hell, because I prepared you. Right? That I might reach them. If I couldn't reach you in the flesh, I'd get you in the afterlife. Huh? So I can reach them that are not part of the flesh and blood of my faith. To shout out to the real Israelites, Essenes and Nazarenes, all the faithists, right? The true chosen, those who have chose the Creator. And inasmuch as ye have gone to the farthest limits of glory and to the darkness of hell, so will I give unto you wisdom, love, and power accordingly. So even if you did ended up in the hell, there is redemption. Huh? See the difference? You go to hell in Christianity, you there forever. You go to hell in Buddhism, you're there, you're stuck. He's saying, I prepared your life, right? This hard life for you to go through a hard road afterwards, because I'm going to reach you. I prepared you. That is the book of Leka 19 and 16. All right, let's go to the next one. This is the Ark of Bond 20 and 3. Right? Chapter 20, verse 3, the Ark of Bond. Hear me, old man. I come every 3,000 years. Somebody throw me up. What do we call a 3,000 year period? How do you measure time, y'all? This is an alley-oop. What is a 3,000 year span of time called? Put it in the chat for me, y'all. I come every 3,000 years. I newly light up the world. My voice cometh upon the souls of men. Thy all highest is me. Thy all lowest is sin. Two things only I set before thee. Look at this. Oh man. The self that is myself, the creator, and the self that is yourself, Shaitan, which wilt thou serve? For thereon hangeth either thy resurrection or thy hell. You see that? He said, I come every 3,000 years. When was the last 3,000 year period started, y'all? What we got up in here? Dreadful Cosmos say arc. Yahweh say arc cycle. Honor and humility say arc cycle. You dig what I'm talking about? Them boys is, I'm throwing alley-oops around here. These boys is dunking. Even the false gods, they know that hellfire story is not eternal. Okay. But they sure tell it and use it. You see what I'm saying? But look what he's saying. Look at what the Great Spirit is saying. I newly light up the world. Right? So with the understanding, right? With the understanding that roughly every 3,000 years or every arc cycle, the Creator says he brings new light unto the world. Is there any doubt, right, that for the last 175 years or since the beginning of the Cosmon era in 1848, that man has greatly advanced quickly? Huh? This is why you call it the information age. This is why you call it the golden age. This is why it seems as if time is speeding up. What you are perceiving is a higher light, an Ethereal light being allowed to penetrate down to the earth consistently. He said, look, two things I set before you. That's it. Only two. The self that is myself, the creator, the good stuff, the light, and the self that is yourself, which is Shaitan, which is dark, which is manly. Huh? He's saying, which will you serve? For hereon hangeth either thy resurrection or thy hell. Dig that. It's the Ark of Bond, 20 and 3. Let's go to the book of Forgopity, 24 and 14. Right? This is the book of Forgopity, 24 and 14. Right? Think not that darkness belongeth only to the earth and the lowest heavens. What are the lowest heavens again called, y'all? Hell. There are those who rise to the second resurrection, right? And then fall into unbelief, and then fall to the first resurrection, and afterward become wandering spirits. And some of them even fall into hell, which is, right? Hell, peep the spiritual tie, which is belief in evil and destruction being good. The brother Maharakar, shout out to the brother. You know what I mean? It's my Israelite brother, but him and the OG Quanoff is having a debate about rape, right? Quanoff is saying it ain't in there. It's obviously in there. And Maharakar is saying, look, yeah, it's in there, but I'm with it. Right? Look what it say. Hell, right? The mental state, the spiritual state of hell, right? Is to believe in evil and destruction being good. The brother is justifying raping women because the God wrote it in a book and he said it happens during a time of war. So he's saying that regardless to if rape is good or not, because it's during time, because it's done during wartime, it's okay. That is belief and in that destruction is good. That is the belief in evil and destruction being good. So he is literally in a mind state, a spiritual state of hell. That's crazy. Anybody justifying rape of any type for any reason is a brother you don't need to be around. Especially don't let them around your kids. And please don't beef with that brother. Because we know the level that not only he, but his God is willing to go to get some get back. Look at that. What is hell? Right? And some of them even fall into hell. What is hell? It is the belief in evil and destruction being good. This is how you could believe rape is good. This is how you could believe sacrificing your children because a spirit said so is good, because you are in a state of spiritual hell while you are on earth. Crazy part is, remember all the old schoolers used to tell us, we in hell already? They was right. Breathe it in. It's just the lowest part of the atmosphere. But spiritually, right? Being in a hell is the belief in evil and destruction being good. And the brother believes rape is good. He'll justify it because of war and because his God said. Sickening. Look at that. Let me go back a little bit. And some of them even fall into hell, which is belief in evil and destruction being good, and yet others become drujas, low demonic spirits, engrossed in the affairs of mortals and in lust. What do low demonic drujan spirits who are engrossed in the affairs of mortal teach? Reincarnation. So all them people thinking they coming back in Jerusalem and they gonna jump back in their bodies and their bodies gonna come up out of the grave. All them Buddhists who think they coming back, them Brahminists who think they coming back. Is this not what your religion teaches? Right? Why does your religion teach it? Because your God has become a druja, engrossed in the affairs of mortals and in lust. Didn't your God even claim that he knocked Mary up? Teaching reincarnation. And they finally, look what happens to them. They finally become fetals and vampire spirits feeding on mortals. A fetal is like what we would commonly call spiritually a succubus or incubus, right? A spirit that feeds on you spiritually. You dig what I'm talking about? When it feeds on you spiritually. This is where your tales of vampires come from. This is why you can't never see a quote unquote Vampire in the mirror. Why does your God teach reincarnation? He has become a druja, a demonic, low spirit engrossed in the affairs of mortals and in lust, teaching reincarnation. Till they become the lowest of the low. What do they call those? Like a leech. What do you call those? Till they become symbiotic with you, where they literally live off the spiritual part of your food and your sustenance. Right? This is a fetal. That's from anybody want to check that out? That's from the book of Chronicles 24 and 14. Let's go a little further. Think not that darkness belongeth only to the earth and the lowest heavens. There are those who rise to the second resurrection. Right? This is 24 and 15. Right? Who rise to the second resurrection and then fall into unbelief and then fall into the first resurrection. Hold on. They keep popping up. And then fall into the second resurrection and then fall into unbelief and then fall into the first resurrection. And afterwards become wandering spirits. And some of them even fall into hell, which is the belief in evil and destruction being good. And yet others become drujas, engrossed in the affairs of mortals and in lust, teaching reincarnation. And they finally become fetals and vampires on mortals. Whoever hath attained to the height of his own ideal is on the precipice of hell. But he who finding the God of his forefathers too small for himself, and so inventeth one much higher, is a great benefactor. A fool can ridicule the ancient person. His delight is to pull down. A fool's delight is to pull down. A wise man furnishes a great person. To pull down the all person is to pull down his people. Book of Chronicles 24, 14 through 15. Let's go to the book of God's word. 26, right? Book of God's word, chapter 26, 1 through 2. We're breaking down hell. And when the king was restored, right? This is during the time of Zarathustra, Arkalu, circa about 7,053 BC. So a little over 9,000 years ago. When the king was restored, he was as another man, having suis or clairvoyance, and believing with a full conviction. And he asked Zarathustra what now he should do that he might escape the fires of hell after death. Ahithu Mazda spake through Zarathustra, saying, think not that thou canst do to escape hellfire. Think not what thou canst do to escape hellfire, for that would be laboring for self. Don't think what you can, don't try to come up with some scheme to escape hellfire. Ain't gonna work, because that's gonna be laboring for self. Think what thou can do to save others. For which reason thou shalt practice the Ormazdian law, or the law of the Creator, the higher law. 1 year shalt thou dwell with the poor, carrying the alms bowl, according to the Zarathustrian law. After that thou shalt preach the Ormazdian law of the denial of self for the good of the city, teaching and turning away from earthly things and striving for spiritual things, having faith in Ormazd. So if you wanna stay out of hell, do good for others, huh? Don't try to come up with a scheme because you're scared, right? Because even so, that's laboring for self, shaitan. So it's actually You think you're doing something good, right? You think you're doing a good work, but you're actually creating a bond even worse, right? Because you done fooled yourself and then believe you're doing it for somebody else, but it's actually selfishly you trying to keep yourself out of hell. Scary nigga. Do something good. Live by the higher law. Huh? Have you heard anything in Owaspy that was devilish, demonic yet? Huh? So look, let's go get down into this real quick. Let's go get down into this. Right? This is the book of the wars. While we at it, man. While we at it, right? The Bible talks about the book of the wars. Right? I like to ask all my Christian shit. Ask the Muslims, Israelitish, Hebrew brothers, where is the book of the Lord? And why, after 2,000 plus years, hasn't your God found it? Huh? Maybe the book of the Lord wasn't about your God. Huh? Book of the wars of the creator. Huh? Maybe your God ain't that. Could that be why he can't find a book? Thought he was omnipotent, all-knowing. Just a question. Ask your God where the book at. And let me just show you what your God can't do. Right? Another limitation. Showing you this couldn't be the creator. How Cosmo and Cal can do something your God can't do? Your God don't know where the book of the wars of the against the creator, against Jehovah is, against the Lord. Huh? He don't know where it is. Guess what I'm about to do? Read it. The book of the wars is in Owaspy. The reason your God don't have it and can't find it, because it ain't about him. Maybe it was kept out of your Bible. Is this a possibility it was kept out of your Bible in the first place because it exposes your God as the bad guy? So let's get to this book of the wars. So anarchy began to reign in Hara. Look at that. Anarchy began to reign in the lower heavens. Hara, Hades, hell, in the breathable part, right below the clouds. From just above the clouds on down, that's the lowest part. $16,000 feet, 20,000 feet, so a couple miles up, on down. So anarchy began to reign in the lower heavens. Order was broken down. Warfare was divided in 1,000 ways, and neither angels nor gods could more discover what this war or that war was about, save to inflict torments on others. And so great was the conflict that over more than half the earth, all the lowest heaven, was but one continuous succession of knots and hells. Look at this. To inflict pain and disorder and destruction was the work of 20,000 million angels in darkness. That's 20,000 million. That's 20 billion angels. So during this time, which is the 23rd arc cycle, after the creation of man, or the Arca Spita, from 3953 BC to 1553 BC, a 2,400 year period, this is what's going on. Or the time which its center point, right? Its highest physical attribute being applied to man at this time is the center point of the inhabitable time on the planet, right? We find the pyramids being built. 2,400 years. So this is the time we talking about, from basically Nakata 2 period down to the right before the end of the Bronze Age, right? That's what we talking about. That's the time we talking about where all this is going on, right? And so great was the conflict that more than half the earth, all the lowest heaven, was but one continuous succession of knots and hells. To inflict pain and disorder and destruction was the work of 20,000 million angels in darkness. War, 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 hell, hell, hell. And now, alas, over all the earth where war had reveled hundreds of years, were thousands of millions of spirits in chaos. Look at this. Look at the results of war. Your God wants you to kill Amalek. Smite the little babies utterly. Oops, excuse me. Smite the little babies. You dig what I'm talking about? Kill women and children, right? Why don't you ask your God what happens to the spirits after you kill them? Where do they go? Right? Where do they go? What do they do? Right? After I kill this suckling little baby, what happens to the baby? Your God didn't tell you about that before he didn't tell Israel about what happens to the spirits that die on the battlefields before he sent them up there to fight Benjamin. Your God didn't warn you about what happens when you kill off the men, women, and children of the Amalekites. He didn't warn you that a bond is created, that blood must be paid for. That life that you didn't give and yet you took must be recompensed in whole, whether in this life or the not. Why didn't your God tell you that these are the just deserts of war? Why? Because he wants you bound with him in ignorance, darkness, war. Look what happened to him. Thousands of millions of spirits in chaos, not knowing in fact they were in the spirit world, but still battling. All who came along, to the left and to the right, before and behind, screaming, bawling with madness, striking out in madness, an unceasing agony, in an unending nightmare of madness. Look what happens to the spirits that you kill. This is why Creator told you in the beginning, thou shalt not kill. Because this is what happens to the spirits. Creator got whole crews that come down from the higher heavens and break up these knots. Shout to the Creator, gang, man. We already know what we gonna be doing in the second resurrection. Y'all worried about hell and your chestnuts roasting on an open fire. You dig what I'm talking about? You going to pine saw heaven. You going to pine or heaven. That's what you worried about. Because your God has convinced you that fear is the beginning of all knowledge. No. to understand and understand that there is a creator to all this creation. That is the beginning of all wisdom. Huh? But look at them, screaming, bawling with madness, striking out in madness. They on the field not even knowing they dead. Unceasing, listen to this, agony. Could you imagine, like, you ever been in a dream and you was fighting somebody in a dream and a nigga shot you in a dream? You dig what I'm talking about? And he just keeps shooting you in the dream like you ducking him, but you get hit like, and then you may come back or wake up. And then you come back and you go right back into the dream, get shot again, and you can't stop it. This is what they saying going on in the spirit world for men who die on the battlefields. And your God is telling you to go on the battlefield and kill niggas. And then trying to justify it. Something wrong. We got to wake up, y'all. Something wrong. Or you going to be the next spirit, huh? Bawling with madness, striking out in madness and in unceasing agony, and an ending nightmare of madness. Look at this. And from the mighty host of darkness, the Drujas, huh? Deep born in darkness, deep. Now pestering the people on earth were hundreds of millions of familiars taken to feudalism. Look at this. This is where your idea of vampire come from. Man didn't make this shit up. Vampire spirits, spirits that suck your soul or spiritual sustenance. One-time men. These are like, what is the word I want to use? Oh man, they live like a symbiotic life. It's like a leech. You know what I mean? It feeds off what you eat. What is that called? It's a term for it. Oh wow, slipping my mind. Yeah. Sucks your energy, sister. But there's a term for that. It's called oh wow, where another entity lives off another entity. A parasite. There you go. Thank you, Sister Tabitha. A parasite. This is what a vampiric spirit is. Or a fetal. A fetal is a vampiric spirit. Right? They feed off your sustenance. A parasite. That's the word I couldn't think of. I knew what I was saying. Couldn't get the word out. Thank you, Sister Tabitha. A parasite spirit, right? Dig it. Who attacks the flesh and the blood of mortals till the brain and the heart are wild and mad. Sound like a vampire to you? This is all spiritual. Vampire spirits who suck the blood and flesh of mortals till the brain and heart are wild and mad, till the mortal is driven to nameless deeds of horrors. Desperate with the foul obsession. Could this be why the son of Sam killed all them people? Could this be why Dahmer did what he did? Because he was driven mad, huh? Spiritually. Only a man could go rape these people, kill them and chop them up and then eat them. Don't that sound vampiric to you? Well, once you start to understand that man is always inspired, huh? And look what they're doing. They're now pestering the people on earth, right? Hundreds of millions of familiars taking the feudalism. Your own family feeding off of you. Vampire spirits who suck the blood and flesh of mortals to the brain and heart are wild and mad. Till the mortal is driven to nameless deeds of horrors. desperate with foul obsession, spirits who bring poison, and horrid smells to afflict mortals with, spirits who delight to feed on the flesh of mortals, which is corrupted with scabs and running sores, spirits that teach reincarnation and lust as the highest, most exalted heaven. This is the Book of the Wars, 54, 16 through 18. Tell Jeebus to read that. Remember, they also said these whoremongers and these dark spirits are going to be outside of Jerusalem once it drop out the sky in its bird box. I'm just saying. That's Book of the Wars, 54, 16 through 18. Right? Let's get more into it. The swift messengers departed hastily. Fragapati then commanded that the Avalanza be anchored for a day. And he and many of his hosts went out into hell, where the spirits were weeping and wailing and cursing. Sounding familiar? Or lying in drunkenness and lethargy. Many of them were naked and foul smelling, and hundreds of thousands of them, having had diseased corporeal bodies while on earth, had now carried with them into hell the substance of their corruptions. Look at that. Huh? You had that VD on earth giving them, burning them girls. You died with it. You taking it to hell with you. They had now carried with them into hell the substance of their corruptions, even the rottenness of plagues and consumptions and of other diseases. It is not even lawful to mention. What kind of disease you had that you can't even mention it? Dang. Fragapati had said, by the power, O Jehovah, Creator, shall a wall of fire encompass these people about. Is this where we get our idea of fire and hell from? But this is true God at the time. Fragapati. He's walling the people off so they don't get down to the masses of the mortals. Is this why we tie fire with the idea of hell? We already heard about the knot, right? But here we go, right? Fire. Dig this. By the power of Jehovah shall a wall of fire encompass these people about. They shall not escape. For were they to return to the nations of mortals, they would inoculate them unto death. Ooh-wee. Huh? It sounding like 2020? Anybody? They would inoculate them unto death. Fire, O Jehovah, fire, thou all purifier. And he cast his hands outwards and upwards in majesty, and there rose up walls of fire on the face of the mountains, and the light thereof fell into the valleys of Utsa, the pit of hell. To the east and west and north and south, Fragapati turned, saying, a wall of fire, and he himself shone as a sun, united with the all-eternal Creator. So this is God uniting with the Creator. Notice they're two different things. Huh? United with the all-eternal Creator, whose voice was power to wield the elements to his will, Presently, there were hemmed into one field, right? Now, this is of these dark spirits. He just made a area walled in with fire, right? Encompassing the mountains, right? Let's see how many of these low Druidian spirits he got, right? Presently, there were hemmed into one field more than 500 million Druids, who, by the sudden transformation, were roused up to desperate wildness with bated breath, running hither and thither, first one way and then another. Have y'all ever seen wild pig hunting, wild boar hunting on YouTube? Well, when you get a chance, right, look up caged wild boar hunting. What they do is they set these bait traps, right, and it's got like a top on it, but the sides, right, are laid down in the ground. And once you get enough pigs in there, you kind of slam the doors on them and turn it into a corral, and you catch the pigs in there. But while the pigs is in there, they be going nuts, slamming up against the wall. So sometimes you catch 40, 50 pigs at a time, and they are just ramming into each other and off the walls and going crazy. And that's how I picture this scene. You know what I mean? That once they figured out they was trapped in, they, you know, get the seeing the fire and it's rousing them up. You dig what I'm talking about? They get to going crazy. Right? Let me see one more again. Presently, there were hemmed into one field. Right? This is just one of the fields. More than 500 million Druids, dang, who by the sudden transformation were roused up to desperate wildness and with bated breath, running hither and thither, first one way and then another, and yet there were others, millions of them. And yet there were other millions of them, so low, stupid, and crazed that the others ran over them. Dang. Like they was just part of the ground, just ran over. Like a stampede. Right? Hold on. Like my little slipper thing. And yet there were other millions of them, so low, stupid and crazed, that the others just ran over them as if they were but a heap of rubbish. Death. That's the book of Forgopity 4-8. Right? Let's get into this real quick. This is actually another from the book of Forgopity, chapter 8, 3-11. You dig what I'm talking about? Let's get into it real quick. Think not, O ye angels, that the resurrection of your heirs. Oh, y'all always talking about your my ancestors. Your ancestor of Druja. Huh? You better put some prayers up for grandma. When the last time you prayed for your ancestors? Huh? When the last time you prayed and it wasn't about you? Uh-oh. Huh? Hit different when you find out your mama a Druja. Hit different when you find out grandma drugged. Think not, O ye angels, that the resurrection of your heirs and their descendants that come up out of the earth is an easy matter and of steady progress. Look at that. Huh? How many of y'all think y'all higher raised than y'all ancestors? How many of y'all don't? Don't think it's an easy matter and of steady progress, devoid of mishaps and woeful darkness. Huh? You worry about your ancestors. Your ancestors worried about getting their self right. The angels under you shall become at times rebellious and defiant, disregarding your laws and decrees. And they shall desert your heavenly places and go down to the earth in millions and hundreds of millions. And they shall drive away the Ashars, the guardian angels of men, and then assume guardianship over them. But they shall develop no righteousness under the sun, but they will inspire mortals to war and destruction. Just let that sink in for a second. Why is there so much war and destruction in the world today? Huh? These people at the top are inspired, right? And they are inspired to war and destruction. War and destruction is against the Creator. And these angels, listen, these angels in their mortal wars, right, will themselves take to war. So if the angel is warring as above, his mortal war is warring so below. Right? You see right here, right? They drove away the guardian angel and assumed guardianship over mortals. But they shall develop no righteousness under the sun, but they will inspire mortals to war and destruction. And these angels will themselves take to war and evil on every hand within the place of your heavens, with the foul gases of atmosphere. Huh? With the foul gases of the atmosphere shall they make weapons of war. Listen, in places of torment. Huh? These are in the heavens, in the lower heavens, the Hades, the Hades, the hell. These weapons of war made in places of torment. Huh? True God showed you how he do it for good, to separate the foul spirits from inhabiting and upon man. But this is one time when it happens. Huh? And these angels will themselves take to war on every side, will take to war on every hand within the place of your heavens. With foul gases of atmosphere, they shall make war, weapons of war in places of torment. With the elements, shall they make suffocating hells in order to cast one another in chaos. And mortals who shall be slain in war shall be born in spirit in chaos on the battlefield. See the consistency in the text? My Creator ain't gonna never tell you thou shalt not kill and then turn around and tell you slay the Hivites, the Perizzites, the Jebusites. He ain't gonna never in a billion trillion years tell you war is good. He ain't gonna never try to justify it. And with the elements shall they make suffocating hells in order to cast one another in chaos. And they can't even kill each other. Dig that. And mortals who shall be slain in war shall be born in spirit in chaos on the battlefields. In chaos shall such spirits enter the spirit world. And they shall not know that they are dead. Look at that. They ain't gonna know. Dude just running across the battlefield. You dig what I'm talking about? He thought he just fell. He woke up. He jumped back up. He run across the battlefield, but now he running all through the bullets. He running. He get over there. He busts his gun. But ain't none of the guys falling. He take his grenade off. He throw it into the trench. He see it blow up in the spirit. But ain't none of the men fall. Then he noticed that the men in the trenches are advanced through him. He don't even get it. He gonna go to the next one, fighting another invisible spirit. Could you imagine? But what y'all don't really get, and this is why the God went to hell. This is why more gods are going to hell. And why we're watching the death throes of religion right now. Right? This is why they create these binds. And many of the wars, much of the war, I'd say 80% of all war, whether you call it political or not, is religious based. Nobody killed more people than Jeebus. Nobody. More murder been done in the name of Jeebus than everybody. Shout out to Equator 7. You dig what I'm talking about? In chaos shall such spirits enter into the spirit world, and they shall not know they are dead as to earth life. Right? They ain't gonna know they dead. But they shall still keep fighting right and left. And the enemy shall take enemy in these heavens and cast them in places of torment, which they have built. And they shall not know peace nor wisdom. And the work of your heavens shall become as nothing. And ye shall turn to going about delivering hells and the spirits in chaos. And your labor shall be exhaustive. Verily, shall you cry out because ye came and peopled the earth. Now he talking to the angels, right? He talking to the angels who made the very first men. This would be in the biblical tale. He would be talking to Eve, right? Because Eve would have made it with the very first men, the Adamites, the Adamu, the Asun, and created the men that they're talking about, right? Right? The men who go on to afterwards die on these battlefields would be your Cains and your Abels, right? It's all allegory, y'all. It's all allegory, right? This also have I created possible unto my creations, right? For both angels and mortals shall learn to know the elements of the heavens and the earth, and to know the trials of love and misfortune. Nor have I made wisdom, listen, nor have I made wisdom possible unto any man or angel that knoweth not my elements and the extremes of evil and good, which I created. Now look, this is why I knew he was real. This is why I knew Jaja wasn't playing. This nigga didn't duck no smoke. Who the biblical God blame evil on? A shaitan, a snake, huh? A Lord of the heaven, an Elohim. Even blamed it on Eve, huh? Look at Jaja. He said, you can't know wisdom. He said, you can't even have wisdom. Look, nor have I made wisdom possible unto any man or angel that knoweth not my elements and the extreme, and hold on, and the extremes of evil and good, which I created. He ain't ducking no smoke. He said, yeah, I made that shit, nigga, but I let you choose. I told you thou shalt not war. What you do? Killed the Hivites? Why I like them niggas? And then what's the first person to think? What if a nigga break in your home? Huh? Want to go to the farthest extreme, right? You want to justify this murder, right? We're not talking about somebody breaking into your home. We're talking about, even if we would be looking at it from the robber's side, because his God is telling him to go in your house. So ain't he right? Remember, you can't have it both ways. Your God said, do this to the Amalekites. Oh, you tripping, God, man, you just be hating. No, I'm waking niggas up. Huh? I'm giving it back for what they did to the Cold Crush. I'm giving it back for what they did to my grandmama. They sold her pie in the sky, nigga. Jesus out. I'ma have to go into the hell-nots and get my grandma. The best woman I could ever possibly think of. Huh? You don't think I want to be right? You don't think I talk to my grandma about Creator? She still think it's God. Huh? So don't tell me what the fuck I'm doing is wrong. I see the big picture. You still under the God spell. Huh? Don't you see one day Creator gang gonna have to come get you? You gonna be one of these low dark demonic Drujan spirits getting ran over like a piece of trash. Wake up, niggas. Huh? Come on home. Jaja been screaming at you. It's a reason you watching this. It's a reason it's gonna come across your timeline. Y'all share this stuff out there on your threads, man. Y'all make, I don't care what it is. I don't block nothing. Y'all make shorts, memes, whatever y'all want to do about it. But I'm gonna talk my shit because you tricked my great grandma. Oh, it's a reason Luamang, aka Christ, will be the most hated of gods. Wait till you learn how you duped. It's sickening. Oh, I know why my numbers don't be going off the meat rack. They don't want to hear this. Oh, this don't go in the algorithm. Oh, no. Oh, no. But boy, y'all better hope y'all can tap into this shit in 20 years. Y'all better download this stuff. Because when the faithers get the hell on, y'all hit. When we go put that new shalom together, y'all done. You're dead man there. Huh? You're gonna be in them Georgia field cities. And the crazy part is, it ain't, you better hope we don't get right fast. You better hope it take a little minute so you can get yourself together. Because if he get us up out of here like that, that means it's going down. Huh? And we see what happened when the spirits of darkness, come upon men, What it say? But in the times of great darkness, which shall come upon the earth and these heavens, lo, I will bring the earth into Dana, the time of Etherian light. Remember he said every 3,000 years? That is called the Dana. But in between Dana and Dana, which is on average 3,000 years, there are 8 semidans, times of etheric light. 7, excuse me, my bad. Whatever. Until we go back into another Dana. So understand that for the next, actually 225 years, well, actually, shit, that's actually 425 years. We're going, or for the first 600 years of the Cosmine era, a time and a half time, we're going to be constantly on the rise. What you think is the world ending or some, great collapse or the revelation, the world ending, eschatology type. You dig what I'm talking about? It's really the death throes of religion. It's that vibratory light rising higher and higher and higher to the next semidan. And then it's going to rise higher and higher and higher to the next semidan. And what we're seeing is that the disease, the low, the religious, it can't stand in the light. And this is why things that were commonly in the dark are now being revealed and made plain in these days. You dig what I'm talking about? The boy said, wait till I see a video. We're gonna get into that. Let's see if maybe I can show it. It's and during the days of darkness, there were more than 80 hells founded within Ahura's heavenly regions. 80, right? A score is 20. No, wait a minute. 80. A score is 10. So there were more than 40 hells founded within Ahura's heavenly regions, and he himself was cast into one. Look at your boy Ahura Mazda. Oh yeah, they always try to put Zoroaster with the faithists. No, nigga. Yeah, no, we don't rock with Ahura. You dig what I'm talking about? That nigga you talking about is a false god. It's actually Kabbalactus. He usurped that name. Kabbalactus is also known as Buddha. See how the false gods can be tricky? They can take up on any name and form they want to. All right? There were more than 40 hells founded in Ahura's heavenly regions, and he himself was cast into one of them. That is a knot. And he was walled about by more than 3,000 million, 3 billion angels, pilfered and stripped of all he had. Could you imagine 3 billion people putting the hands and feet on you? What kind of whooping he get? They doing everything. He was pilfered. That mean they beat you out your clothes. He was pilfered and stripped of all he had, and his remaining sub-gods were also bound in hell and robbed of all they had. And presently the spirits ran for the kings and the queen's soul of them who had been tyrants on earth. Queen Elizabeth. King Leopold. And they caught them and brought them and cast them into hell, also taking vengeance upon them with stripes and foul smells, and hundreds of spirits. And hundreds of thousands of spirits went and gathered foul smells and cast them into hell, and surrounded the hells on every side with foul gases, so that none could escape. So desperate became the madness upon them that even the tormentors rushed in, making a frolic of madness. And whosoever had ever had an enemy on earth, look, and whosoever had an enemy on earth now ran for him and caught him in Hades, Hada, the lower heavens, and brought him. And others helped, and they took and cast them into torments of hell. And those who had been slaves, listen, and those who had been slaves hundreds of years to Ahura and his gods and his people, now caught everyone they could lay their hands on and dragged them into hell. Well, like that, if this can happen to a God, what you think is happening to slave master? Huh? What you think is happening to those people who ruled and dominated and enslaved and oppressed and indentured and renamed? Huh? What do you think those people who were born in ignorance, died in ignorance, are doing to those people in the heavens? Huh? What do you think they doing? Oh yeah, slave master ain't get away with nothing. This is why they scared of you to read Owaspy. Huh? We breaking the God spell. But look at this. Look at this. Mind you, that's the Book of Divinity 27, 3-5. Now dig this. Y'all can follow along. You know what I mean? Follow along with you didn't know that. Book of Divinity, chapter 28, 21 through 23. Check this shit out. Is it a score is 20, right? A score is 20, right? Or is a score 10? 20 is a score, right? So that means it was over 80 hells. It's even worse. You dig what I'm talking about? And we're not just talking about Massa. We're talking about his descendants too. That same hate they still hold in their heart. Huh? And until that, you made a declaration of independence. Huh? That you stole from the people you enslaved. Your idea of a republic come from the American Indian. You still ain't made this right. That means your kids got to make it right. And until they do, they will lounge in hells. Huh? After their death. Dark, purgatory-like places where niggas whoop your ass for shit your ancestors did hundreds of years ago. You benefited from it. You ain't helped get it back and you knew it was wrong. You got the same treatment coming. This is what creators here to reveal. You can think I'm playing with it or whatever, but this is why they didn't want you to read Owaspy. Because it tell you, America can't get right till you get the nigga right. Oop. Your Bible ain't tell you that. Huh? Your God ain't tell you that? That America can't get right? Till y'all give it some original owners, original inhabitants, till you get them together and make them whole for the shit that you fucked up. And until you can grab them and say, brother, I love you, my nigga. Come get your shit together. Y'all fucked. Y'all fucked. It's not a race thing. It's not a hate thing. It's a right and wrong thing. It's a you messed it up, you clean it up. Right? Right. We never got that donkey in the makers. But we didn't sign off on the deals to give away our land anyway. Who is them people? Because they sure wasn't us. Got words for them people. They got words. Got a C in it, 2 O's, and an N. Call them sellouts. Traders. Because many of the modern Native Americans traded on their Indian brothers and got with their white brothers and enslaved us. Yepper. They won't tell you that. They know they stole this shit. And we was nice to them people. I'm talking about the Mongoloid Asian. We was nice to y'all. We even mixed in with y'all. Creating what you call the Siouan types. This is why they Mongoloidal looking and Negroidal, but speak Algonquin-based languages. Yeah, but anyways. Prior to the submersion of Pan, commonly called the flood, Pan is where you get your Atlantis, Lemuria, Mu, Zealandia, all your myth about a sunken continent. It's Pan, and this is why everything first or whole is called Pan. Pan is the place where the very first men or very first Homo sapiens were created. Right? That is now the floor of the Pacific. Used to be a continent in the Pacific. I got tons of info on that shit. That ain't nothing to bring out no more. Yeah, I mean, well, it is because it's dope because most people don't know. You know what I mean? But I got even deeper information on the floor of the Pacific, movement of tectonic plates, the birthing and times and risings of mountain ranges, subduction of continental plates, right? Why? For instance, if you look this up just quick, you dig what I'm talking about. Y'all ain't gotta, believe me or nothing, but actually don't believe me. But there was a continent that was above the water of the Pacific that is now the floor of the Pacific, right? A tube, just to make it plain, was placed around the Pacific, right? And a continent was smashed with roughly 38 billion pounds per square inch over the Pacific. 63 million miles square. You dig what I'm talking about? What's dope is, right? When Oth, the god who sunk the continent, right? Before he did it, he smashed a piece of the continent and separated it from everything, right? Now that piece of the continent is in the northwestern Pacific, right? And is today called the island of Japan, which means remnant of Pan, right? How about if I told you that the whole floor of the Pacific moves in a north northwestern direction. How? Subduction. A continent was smashed and pushed to the floor and moved under the continental shelf of Asia majorly, right? So once it was smashed, it was pushed under, and now the whole floor moves towards Japan. That's why the floor of the Pacific moves towards the northwest. Just a little stuff we're going to be bringing out, man. You dig what I'm talking about? You know what I mean? Yonaguni. Yup, Yonaguni. But the crazy part is Yonaguni is not actually pre-flood. Yonaguni is younger than the flood and was sunken and is of the people who go on to repopulate Japheth or Russia and China and Japan and all that shit. You dig what I'm talking about? That stuff was carved after the flood when the seas were much lower. You dig what I'm talking about? This is 24,000 years ago, or the exact year 22,553 BC. This is when the flood happened. And I'm not asking, I'm telling. Right? Prior to the submersion of Pan, commonly called the flood, more than half the people entering the spirit world went into hells and knots. Y'all hear that? More than half the people of the world, 50% of the world who died, went into hells and knots. Why? Their actions. It's all on what you do. Sometimes their whole societies led whole societies to hells and knots, and that's why they don't exist no more. Osiris, Babylonians, Persian Medes, yeah, all of them wiped out. They don't exist no more. They fairy tales. You know what I mean? Fodder for the history books. And yet the faith is still here. Huh? We was here before Egypt. We here after you niggas. We here on the rebirth by Arabs. We still here. Where they at? Where the Romans at? Y'all oppressed our people. Where y'all at? Jaja turn you boys into a dinosaur. When you've met your goodness quota, huh? When you have no more good to give the man, you get what I'm talking about? Yeah, the Yonaguni is yeah, check it out, bro. It's sis, Yonaguni is a man-made structure that's off the coast of Japan. Massive man-made structure built by the giant Ahuins of Japan. Of Asia. Now dig this. The crazy part is, on average, Japan and China produce some of the smallest people in the world, on average. The crazy part is, just about 20,000 years ago to 24,000 years ago, they produced the biggest people in the world. I mean, the biggest niggas you could think of. Easy. 25 footers. Easy. 30 footers. Easy. Fresh out of the land that now produces the smallest. Ain't Jaja? Jaja got jokes. He got jokes. Okay, let me go back. Right? And in all the ages of the world, there have been thousands and millions of spirits who delight in hell for certain seasons, even as is manifested in mortals who delight in debauchery, in vengeance, and war. Right? These are the people who go on to delight in hell. What's hell? The belief that evil and destruction and war are good. Right? So they are spirits who delight in hell for certain seasons, even as is manifested in mortals who delight in debauchery, vengeance, hitmen, and war. Your trained warrior, your Marine, your Army, Navy vets, trained killers, right? They delight in that shit. Nor is a hell widely different. Listen, nor is a hell widely different as regards the spirit from what war is amongst mortals. Let me reread that again. Nor is a hell widely different as regards the spirit, right? As regard to the spirit from what war is amongst mortals. And as mortals of this day glorify themselves and their generals and their captains for the magnitude of their havoc in war, so in the olden times, in atmosphere, in the unseen worlds, in the heavens, right? There were great boastings and laudations, for such as inflicted the greatest torments and horrors in hell. Remember, they always been showing us that people used to scalp people, behead them and take the heads, or catch warriors and cut off their right hands and bring the hands back as souvenirs and trophies. They even, remember in the Bible, I think it was Saul who told David to bring back Philistine genitalia as proof that he slaughtered these people. I think he told him to bring back a certain number. They bring back hundreds. he was chopping up boys' sausages, man. That's crazy. You know what I mean? So the same things that's going on the earth are inspired in the heavens, unseen. That goes to go along with the saying that the unseen rules the seen. Wow. Right? As mortals of the Druk order. Uh-oh. Are you a Druk? I remember I had to hit my homeboy JJ with that. You dig what I'm talking about? He was talking about the Druks. I told him he's a Druk. And he is. As mortals of the Druk order oft leave their evil ways for a season, right? And become upright and virtuous. Listen to this. Even believers come out of the Druks, right? Believers come out of the Druks. The faithists don't. And they become upright and virtuous, loving decency and righteousness, and then break away and indulge in a season of debauchery. So in the spirit world hath it been with millions and thousands of millions of angels. And one day the teachers and physicians were rejoicing before Jehovih because of the steadfastness of their rewards to righteousness. And in the next day were left to deplore the loss of hundreds and thousands who had broken faith and had gone off for indulgence's sake in some of the hells. And these had to be rescued, persuaded, threatened, and coaxed back again and again to the nurseries and hospitals or to the factories and colleges. Neither knoweth anyone save Jehovah the labor and fretting and anxiety that were undergone by the teachers and physicians. So in the book of Judgment, or is it Inspiration? The book of Judgment, I believe. It says judgment is against war, right? And against all who bring these afflictions upon the angels of heaven. What are the afflictions of the angels of heaven? That these spirits of darkness who died up on the battlefield, born in chaos, fighting left and right in imaginary dreams of madness, right? Go to the earth, right? Have to be rescued and persuaded and threatened and coaxed back again and again to go back to the nursery, to go back to the hospitals, to the factories and college. Neither know these are the afflictions, right? Neither knoweth anyone save Jehovih the labor and fretting and anxiety that were undergone by the teachers and the physicians, and lords and gods who had such drudges in charge. For even as it is beholden on earth that men, even as it is beholden on earth that men of great learning and high in state often fall, becoming lower than the beast of the field. Lower than the beast of the field. So in heaven were there hundreds of thousands and even millions, oft high raised in the grades, that would stumble and fall into the lowest of hells and even into knots. What if I told you that the Christian God had already fallen from hell in 1847? He'd already fell into a hell, already stumbled into the lowest of hells, already fell into a knot. Remember what a knot is? Panicked spirits, right? Panicked spirits beating down one spirit, upset that they lied, finally seeing that they've been tricked all these years. They were praising a man. That already happened to Christ. If you don't believe it, they say as above, so below, right? So if I'm telling you, right, that in the heavens, the God you know is Christ, aka Luamong, had went to hell, well, that would mean on earth somewhere, Jesus, his earthly representation, should be getting banished off of the earth. Well, how about in 1847? Did y'all know that the Pope kicked Jesus out of Rome and put himself as the vicar of Christ? You think that's coincidence? You think this is lick your fingership scholarship like my brother Malachi Maccabee say? You think I'm guessing? You don't think Jesus got kicked out by the Pope in 1847? Look it up. I'm not telling you what I think. I'm telling you what I know. Christ went to hell that same year. Y'all better check out the book of S. Let me see. What is saying? Let me go down here. Let me get down here now. That's just some of the understanding real quick that let me see if I can use see if I can send the link for the chat if anybody want to come in. Let me see. Copy link. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can drop the link in here real quick for y'all. Let's see. What? Okay, this thing ain't letting me live chat. Okay. Pin. Let me see. Let me see. Okay. Share. At least 1 minute of video is needed to. What? Share. Okay. Did that go in the chat? Okay. Well, I'm trying to figure out how to let people on in the chat, man. But if y'all got any questions, man, first of all, if y'all got a little something out of this, you dig what I'm talking about. If I took a little bit of fear away of this hell, if you finally understand that hell, first of all, is just the lower part of the atmosphere, right? And that what you actually fear is called a knot, right? If you got that understanding and you lost a little fear and you understand now that you create your hell by your action here on earth. So if you do good, you get good, correct? Well, then that means what God told you in the biblical narrative about going to hell forever, right? Or going to hell infinitely for finite things, it's actually a lie. So there ain't no chestnuts roasting on an open fire, y'all. You dig what I'm talking about? There ain't no chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Ain't no lake of fire. Ain't no burning for 1,000 years. Always had a question, right? They said Satan was the god of this earth, right? And he roamed to and fro, right? Well, who was the niggas that they was really worried about that's supposed to be chained up, coming back during the 1,000-year reign? And as a matter of fact, if Satan is the god of earth, right? How do you differentiate which one or what time the 1,000-year period stops and ends if he already the God of earth? I always wonder how y'all told the difference. You dig what I'm talking about? Jesus said the kingdom was at hand, the kingdom is in you. That was over 2,000 years ago. Which one of them 2,000-year periods did Satan run? Or is he just still running the earth and just his last 1,000 ain't started yet? Make it make sense to me. You dig what I'm talking about? Make it make sense to me. You know? It's all good, man. I just wanted to bring a little short lesson, man. You know, just bringing out some of the understanding of what a WASPy has to say about hell. Dig what I'm saying? I could get into some other stuff. Any questions? Any questions? Right, eternal hell gotta be the biggest spoof ever. Correct, VP man. Correct. Eternal hell gotta be the biggest spoof ever. And then look, Owaspy admits half of the people, there was one point in time where half of the people of the world were born in the spirit into a hell or to a not. And even they got a chance to redeem themselves, raise themselves up to the literal gods that we have today. Huh? Yeah, man. We got to break the God spell. You dig what I'm talking about? We got to break the God spell. 1 second, y'all. Get y'all, you know, some of these, shout out to my boys at Canna Blends. You dig what I'm talking about? When you get in your 1-2 step on and you're blowing on some of that, you dig what I'm talking about? These Canna Blends that made of all herbals, right? But it enhances your high. Get you some of these performance Canna Blends. You dig what I'm talking about? This one for the body, and then I got another one for the mind. You dig what I'm saying? Y'all check them out, man. I was gonna get into something else, but you dig what I'm talking about? I think I'm gonna leave it there. I think I'm gonna just leave it there, man. And what she say? Good question, Cosmon. And if Satan gets released, why can't humans be released too? Good question. Right? But Bronze Yoke says the Bible time frame is throwed all the way off, especially in Baal and the Dragon especially if Baal and the Dragon is the 13th book of Daniel. Boy, wait till they figure out the tie between Zoroaster in the book of Daniel, right? And Apollonius of Tyana in the book of Revelations. Y'all want to learn about the order of the Melchizedeks for real? Which is the order of the sons of the sun? Huh? You want to learn why Josephus don't mention Apollonius while he was there with Titus? Huh? You really want to learn about who went up before the Roman Senate? Wasn't Paul. Huh? Who was that Roman, quote unquote? Wasn't Paul. Wait till y'all figure that out. You dig what I'm saying? Let me see if I can go back up. I asked a question earlier in the chat. You can go back if possible. I didn't see the question. If you want to, go ahead, ask it again. but I'll go back and look. David and Saul is called men of God. Yeah, man, castrating niggas. You dig what I'm talking about? First time I'm hearing that word, Unaguni. Yeah, maybe we'll get into Yonaguni. You dig what I'm talking about? Get into some Zealandia. I brought up I forget which show actually it was, but I brought out that they have found like 7,000 new islands off Japan. Y'all go check that out. You dig what I'm saying? I just want to give y'all a quick sneak peek on I want to get this published and printed out. You dig what I'm talking about, in color. But I wanted to give y'all just a quick little sneak peek of what your boy working on, man. Some of the titles I'm coming out with. This one is called Faces of the Prophets by Cosmon Cal. You dig what I'm talking about? A lot of people know, you dig what I'm talking about. When you look in Owaspy, when you look in it, man, some of them, hey, sister, Tabitha. Oh, okay, she wrote it. She said, if the other corporeal worlds had the same fall problem, hold on. If the other corporeal worlds had the same fall problem like the earth with Asu and angels, yes. What we find out is that the same process goes on everywhere, right? There is a beginning arc cycle, a wane, right? Then it comes to a galactic, cosmologic, cosmogonic, space and time during the 17th arc cycle called Noah. And then finally, every world goes through a time of the 25th arc cycle, or a time of Cosmon. It's just when the planet goes through it. So there are planets that is billions of years old that went into Cosmon billions of years ago, died off, and rebirthed a whole new people in another round. You dig what I'm talking about? So, but I just wanted to show some of this. This is a little book, some of the book I'm bringing out right now called The Faces of the Prophets. I've been using the AI technology, you know what I mean? And some of that stuff, it stuck with me. The faces stuck with me. You know what I mean? So many of y'all know we don't necessarily rock with the visual representations of the prophets, because it says they essentially come from one line, right? So once you explain Abram, what you explain what Abram looked like, you explain what Brahma, Poe, Chinese, Moses, Yeshua, Zarathustra, and all them, you can clearly tell that they're Negroidal. So the people, a lot of the pictures just didn't sit well with us. So as faithists, if we don't like it, come with our own. You dig what I'm talking about? So I'm doing my own Faces of the Prophets by Cosmon Cal. This is just a little bit of it. Zarathustra, right? This is Zarathustra, prophet of Ormuz, right? The prophet of Persia, circa 753 BC. That's what we believe our representation of Zarathustra would have looked like. He's Persian. These are the same people who go on to produce the Israelites. They also go on to produce the Phoenicians, right? It's Persian stock. So very clearly he would have been Negroidal, right? So we got a picture of And then we get into the breakdowns, you know what I mean, of the Persian people, showing the phenotypes, the different types, and then we get breakdowns on the, you know what I mean, breakdowns on the prophets, their lives, backgrounds, showing representations of the peoples, and why, if you look at this, take a look at the Persian people. Naughty beard, naughty dread them, man. You know what I mean? And then take a look at the Persians, Persian reliefs at Persepolis. You see the Negroidal phenotype with the naughty beard and the naughty lock. You know what I mean? Right there. Another representation. So this is why this representation of what the prophet Zarathustra fits better than what is actually in Owaspy. You know what I mean? So I'm writing, you know, just getting done with this book, you know, putting this together. Abram, check how I got Abram. See my representation of Abram? That's what's up. Real ninja. You know what I mean? So, you know, circa 3953 BC, Abram, a man chosen by God for the children of Arabia, Africa, and the Middle East. You know, so this is going to be made into a book. You know what I mean? You're going to be able to get that at the Creator Gang TV page, the new Cosmon Cal site, and we'll have the links for it to where you can download and get hard copies when I get them pressed up. You dig what I'm talking about? Probably be on Kindle and all that stuff too. You dig what I'm saying? Let me see what everybody talking about, what they talking about. Thank you, sister. All praise to Creator. The Book of Knowledge, chapter 2. All worlds go through a cosmon. Facts. Facts. Yeah, that's what we was explaining to the sis. She was asking, you know what I mean? Remember the saying, ain't nothing new under the sun, right? Well, not even the sun is new. Your son's older than our son. You dig what I'm saying? There's nothing truly new, and even the great times, every world goes through it, man. You dig what I'm saying? So we still under 2 hours, man. This was dope. This was a good build. You know what I mean? Thank everybody for coming through. You know, my what do you call that? My analytics will say tells me that a lot of people watch my show, right? A lot of people watch the show, but a lot of them are not subscribed. So man, go on, hit that subscribe button, then go hit that bell. You dig what I'm talking about? Like the video, don't like the video, leave a post. You dig what I'm talking about? Hit something, you know what I mean? Tell me you don't even like me. Tell me you don't believe in nothing I'm saying. You dig what I'm talking about? At least I know I'm reaching, you know. You dig what I'm talking about? Sub, like, share. Let's get this algorithm popping, y'all. You dig what I'm talking about? As always, it's free smoke over here. You dig what I'm talking about? I got a few of you cats on the hit list. You know what I mean? House of Consciousness. Like I told y'all, it's going to be the House of Cosmon in a minute. But it's all good, man. It's all good. Hey, breathe in. Let the light in. Cosmon, man. I'm out.